Now hello students, in my previous video I explained you that how the prince asked Swallow to pick out the ruby and give his ruby to the poor stress. Now the story goes on. The prince requested Swallow to stay one more night. Now the bird had a bath in the river the next morning. He visited all the important places. He was excited to think that he would be flying to Egypt that night. But the prince requested him to stay for one more night and do a bit of a job. Now he wanted to help a poor playwright who was unable to complete the play. The reason was that he was too poor to buy coal to keep his room warm, and there was no fire in his fireplace. The prince wanted one of the sapphire from his eye socket to be taken to the poor writer. Now the bird agreed with a heavy heart to pluck off the blue stone. Now he flew to the student's small room noiselessly and put the stone on the faded flowers. The writer presumed that it was a gift from some admirer of his plays. Now the next day the bird spent the day at the harbor. When the moon rose, he went to the prince to say goodbye. Now he was afraid of staying on the further because it was getting colder day by day. Now the prince, however, again prevailed upon him to put off his departure by one day. Now this time he wanted to help a poor crying girl whose matchboxes had fallen into a gutter. Now he wanted to save her from punishment of her father. Now he had one more sapphire to give. The bird dared not leave the prince totally blind. He couldn't disobey his friend and carried the jewel to the match girl. She ran home laughingly. Now since the prince was blind now, the bird decided to stay near him for help. You see in this picture, the bird stayed with him. Now he sat on Prince's shoulders and related stories of strange lands. The prince remarked that misery of the people was the greatest mystery. He wanted to hear all about the sufferings of the poor in his own state. Now the swallow noticed that the rich were making merry in their houses while the beggars were sitting at the gates. The children were starving. Now the prince then commanded the bird to take off gold leaves from his body and distribute them among the poor. Now this help made the children healthy and happy, but the prince's statue lost all its beauty without gold and jewel. Now then the winter came with all its fury. The little bird felt very cold. He picked bits of bread from the baker's door. He tried to keep himself warm by flapping his wings. He knew that he was going to die. Now he flew up to the prince's shoulder once more. The prince allowed him to fly to Egypt after kissing him on the lips. The bird said that he was leaving for the house of death, and he fell down dead at the prince's feet. Just then Prince's leaden heart cracked into two parts because of hard frost. Now in the next morning, the mayor, along with the two councillors, noticed the statue. It looked shabby and beggar-like. So he ordered it to be taken down and melted in a furnace. The broken lead heart, however, did not melt, so it was thrown on a heap of dust. The dead bird was also laying there. Now in heaven, God asked one of the angels to bring him two most precious things from the city. Now the angel carried away the broken heart and the dead bird. Now God appreciated the choice. He allowed the bird to sing forever in the paradise and the prince to praise him in his city of gold. So students, this is the story of Happy Prince and Swallow. So you have to read it, and this one is a very interesting story about the poor plight of people. The statue understood all the things of their city, but the living man couldn't help the needy people.